Self-confidence. It's important that we continue to improve self-confidence as we age. Some men are born naturally with high self-confidence, and then some have to work hard to achieve self-confidence. I'm in between that, and probably the reason why I created this channel in the first place, so that I can introduce topics like this for discussion and also find ways to help improve or increase self-confidence in men, especially as we age. Depression is a real thing, and sometimes as we get older, we reflect back on the things that we've done with our lives, and if we're not satisfied with it, of course, it decreases that self-confidence. It increases depression, and that's not a good thing. Finding your own style, such as the heritage style, can boost confidence. I often get a comment from one of you saying that you purchased a new pair of selvage jeans, a new pair of heritage boots, and your self-confidence had boosted up to 1,000%. I totally agree with that, but this video right here is not a focus on what we're wearing. It's more like a focus on smell and how we smell and how we attract other people because of how we smell, whether that be naturally or science into it. So let's talk about cologne and how that affects self-confidence. For many centuries, women have figured out that smelling good is another tool in their arsenal to be able to attract a possible mate. And they figured out, that smelling good attracts men. So you reverse that a little bit. I think that wearing cologne in today's world helps us be able to attract a possible mate or just be attractive to other people. And that's why some people wear cologne and some don't, but there is really a science to it. I would like to make it clear, however, that there is no substitute for our natural smell, our pheromones, to attract a possible mate. Obviously, for centuries, thousands of years, that's what we've been using before the advent of synthetic smell and introduction of cologne or perfumes for women, right? Now, it doesn't work all the time, and here's why. The receiver, if pheromones works all the time to attract possible mate, then there should be any reason why there's single people around, you know what I mean? Or people that don't have a mate, because it doesn't really work all the time, right? Some people smell it, some people are attracted to it, some people think it's a sweet smell, and some people think it stinks. That's the interpretation of someone at the receiving end of natural pheromones. So goes with cologne as well. So let's discuss on when, where, and how you should wear cologne to help you boost your self-confidence and also to improve how you attract other people, right, through smell. Cologne, like perfume, is designed to mimic the release of androsterone. It's an initial impression to someone to possibly attract them to you or get attraction, right, from someone as an initial impression. Same thing like wearing new shirt, new pants, or something that you change about you that someone notices as an initial impression. So real quick, a story, if you would say, right? And I want to kind of know what you think about this. So leave a comment in the comment section below. But I used to travel overseas, and when I get to countries in which they don't believe in deodorant, for me, because growing up in the United States, growing up in a place in which people use deodorant to mask the natural smell, going to places like that, it's kind of overwhelming to me, right? But for the people that live there, that's natural to them, and it's received differently than I would receive it, or I would smell it, and how my mind or my brain processes the smell. Anyways, what do you think? Again, leave a comment, let me know about what you think about that and how you react to something like that if you are in a place in which people don't wear deodorant. Men are not good we're not good about shopping, right? most men anyways, we stay away from the mall. We don't walk around and smell colognes everywhere. In fact, a lot of people don't wear colognes because they don't want to go buy cologne. Sometimes it gets too expensive. So it's a tricky thing, right? Some men just go and buy whatever they see first and get the hell out of the store and go home with it and try it on. So trial and error. That could work as well, but it's such a long process, right? You know, my wife is very sensitive to smell, and if she smells someone wearing cologne that's a little too much or not, it doesn't go with them, she's not afraid to voice that opinion. And sometimes, you'll get embarrassed if somebody has a negative reaction to the cologne you're wearing. It's because sometimes it just doesn't go with you, And again, I'll explain that a little bit more later on why you should buy something that goes with you and how you think, it goes with you, right? So one of the things that I used to do if I wanted to buy a cologne is either bring my wife with me, because first she's the one that's going to deal with my smell the whole time. So if you don't have a wife, then maybe a female friend or another male friend that has a good interpretation or understanding of what you're trying to do. Another way, in my opinion, if you don't want to go through finding someone to go with you to buy cologne or go shopping, then do your research, right? The beauty of having an internet or web access is research based on scientific experimentation, based on people's reactions, and based on people's experiences. So go research, do your research, guys. First though, don't go into it because you think that you're going to buy a cheap cologne and it'll work, right? Or buy the most expensive one and it'll work, but that's not really how it works, right? You have to kind of do your own experimentation and make a decision on whether what kind of smell that goes with you and how you're going to use it. So let's go to how you're going to use it, because that's also important once you find the right cologne for yourself. So once you find the right cologne, and by the way, I kind of stick with certain colognes that I want to wear, because like I said, I found the one that works for me. So right now I am all about this one right here. It's called the Vince Camuto cologne. It smells so good. It is not that strong in my opinion, and it just it works for me, right? It just smells very good, and I'm getting a lot of comments wearing this type of cologne. I also have other colognes in my collection, such as this one, which I like it as well. That's a little bit of a different, smell, musky. And then of course, for those times where I need something a little bit more sporty, then this one right here is the cologne of choice. Now, I am not recommending these colognes because I like them, and you should get them, do your research, and I hope that you find the right one for you. So how do you wear cologne? So the makeup of cologne, sometimes you can't spray it directly to your clothing, especially if you don't want it to get stained, because there are some chemicals in there that will stain your cologne and it's hard to get off. So that's not recommended, right? My recommendation and how I do it is that I spray it on my wrist on both sides, right? I've read also somewhere that rubbing it changes the chemical reaction of the cologne, so I don't do that. Just spray once, a little bit of spray here, and then good to go. Or sometimes I would spray it behind my neck here. And the reason why is because I believe that it releases it throughout the day and reacts to your pulses as you're moving about throughout the day, right? If you prefer to spray it across your chest, that's good too. I've also done the, spray in the air and then walk through it. So what I was thinking at the time is that it kind of evenly distributes in my body. Maybe that worked, maybe it doesn't, but I don't do that anymore. One is that it stains the surrounding, like stains the room, the walls, and things like that, the more you do it, so I don't do that. But I disagree with someone spraying it all over the place, spraying it all around their body, the more is not always the better when it comes to wearing cologne, in my opinion, right? You don't want to overwhelm someone or people around you, especially if you're working in a public space or you're going somewhere in which it's a public space in which everybody is around you. You don't want to do that. Again, that's just my opinion. You do what you do. At the end of the day, I think that's the right thing to do. If you have any comments on how you wear cologne and you would like everybody to kind of consider that as well, just leave it in the comment section below, and then let's consider it. So now that you found the right cologne for you and then you started to use it the right way, you also don't want to use it every single day. And the reason why I say that is this: if you work in construction and you're under the sun, the heat of the sun all day long, cologne and sweat don't match. You know what I mean? It becomes something else at the end of the day. Also, if you're a mechanic or if you're working in somewhere where it's greasy, sweaty, I don't think it's a good idea, right? I also noticed that if I go to the gym, which lately I don't because I have my own gym in my home now. If you go to the gym, it's very distracting when someone walks with overpowering perfume or cologne, you know, and that's another place where you don't want to wear that. People want to work out, they have the headphones on, they want to mind their own business, and sometimes it can be overwhelming, like, you know, like somebody had gone out the night before, partied all night, and then showed up at the gym the next day because they can, and still smelling like a whole bottle of cologne. So those are the places in which I disagree of wearing it. There are other places where you probably don't want to, or maybe considering wearing it at work, right? Sometimes people don't want to be smelling you all day, right? But it depends. Again, if you have someone that you want to attract at work, or your cologne works very well and that is your signature smell, then maybe it's okay to go to work at an office or go to work somewhere in which you're not sweating, right? Because again, sweating and cologne doesn't go very well at the end of the day. It's just my opinion. So now that you know when, where, how to buy and wear and you know, have fun with cologne as another tool in your arsenal to attract people, I wish you luck. You know what I mean? Go out, do your thing, socialize, or continue to experiment with other things. But the right cologne, in my opinion, is a great tool for increasing your self-confidence, especially for mature men, right? Because you're really finding who you are, and then sometimes you have the right combination of financial stability, the smell, the look. All of that is all self-confidence, right? I was at a polo field watching a polo game one weekend, and there was visitors here from India, right? And this gentleman, an older gentleman, was walking. Maybe he was a manager of a polo club or something, but he's all dressed in white with beautiful, beautiful brown boots, and he was just walking very self-confidence is high, obviously, because he was attracting attention based on his looks. And then he passed by, and I smelled, most sweetest smell. I'm not saying that I was attracted to him, but it's impressive to just smell someone that goes with their looks. You know what I mean? So I'm assuming that's an expensive cologne that he was wearing, and he was just wearing the right amount in which people are attracted to it. So anyways, that's all I have for you this week, the topic of wearing cologne. And if, again, you have any comments or you want to leave any comments, just leave it in the comment section below, and let's talk about cologne, right? Because, you know, cologne, your smell, self-confidence, that all goes well with an overall look and style. Anyway, you have a great one. Aloha.